Winter brings the sniffles, and it seems like just about everyone had a cough for a while. Maybe our next guest can offer some relief. Let's welcome Jordan Stone from Stone Drug to the table. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome.
I called him last night.
That was super nice then.
And he wasn't
Extra
even my
nice.
first choice.
Yeah, it's true.
He knows.
That's okay.
Because I called Amber Lee.
His dad, and then Amberly, but now we got second generation, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually a third generation pharmacist. Yes, my grandpa started the store in 1960, and then my dad ran it from the 1990s, and then I took over last year. So
I did not know
you
this.
didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. Third generation pharmacist.
I did not realize that it was Grandpa
that is
too.
so cool.
That is.
So do you have full control over the whole store?
Yes,
like
I do, yep.
the design. I know Angie's going to ask you specifically all about the design, but I want to ask, like, you have helpers that say, let's tear this wall down or whatever, but you say yes, no, here's the budget?
I wish I could say yes, but we work as a great team at Stone Drug. We've had a lot of employees that have been there for a long time. They know the community, they know the customers, and they have a lot of free will to just make stuff happen. So one day I showed up and half the toy section was gone, and it looked great. So I took credit for it, but I didn't
People
get
liked
permission.
it, then you're like, yes, that was my idea.
Exactly.
It sounds like they're going off, we'll ask for forgiveness if it doesn't work.
Yep,
Okay.
probably. So.
Yeah.
Angie has some good questions.
No. I just noticed like last year you kind of started like retouching up things, pulling some things down, and then one day I showed up and saw the exposed brick up above like your counter. Tell us about that and how that happened. Because you were responsible for some of that.
Yes, I was responsible for that. I'd always known there's been brick behind there. I helped knock out a wall when we expanded the pharmacy about 15 years ago. So I knew there was brick behind the plaster. And I wasn't going to expose it because it's a big mess. And then one night I had to fix a patch in the wall, and I just called up my coworkers and I said, I think I can do this in one night. I think I can do it. I called my nephew, called some friends, and we were there from 8 p.m. until 2 a.m.
Okay.
And then
But
we
you
were
got it
back
done
again.
that fast?
Yeah, and then we were back at 6 a.m. to clean the store and open the next morning. So.
Good grief.
Oh my God.
So it's like right above like where the medications are, their counter, and it's probably what, like 4 feet maybe?
Yeah.
4 or 5 feet running across it, but the brick behind it is gorgeous.
Oh, I love it. I love all the updates. The outside looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then therefore it looks so good on the Spanish Fork City puzzle.
Yeah, that's true. Our family was really proud of that.
You should be.
So there's a lot of looks and aesthetics that go to the pharmacy, but there's also a huge responsibility behind the counter. So tell me, as the pharmacist, tell me about your shifts. Like, you can't really ever leave, right?
Yeah. The one thing about being a pharmacist is you never know what's going to walk through that door.
Okay.
So you have to be prepared for pretty much any question. I've had people lift up their shirts and show me rashes that I probably didn't want to see. So you get everything. So you just have to be on your toes, and it's one of those jobs you have to be well researched. I've found that if I don't know something, I tell that to the customer, but I try to look it up.
Okay.
So that way the next time the question comes up, I'll be able to answer it.
But there are long shifts also, right? And if you're the one like in charge during that time, you can't leave, right?
Luckily, we have a few pharmacists on duty
that
at
can
most
relieve
time.
you? Okay.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of pharmacists that help out. So
You've got like 2 or 3 per shift, I feel like,
Yeah,
most of the
usually
time
2.
there. You guys
And then
are
a couple
busy.
texts.
Yep. We've just expanded the pharmacy. I don't know that within the past couple of weeks. So we're just trying to keep
fill
up.
my prescriptions just to go check it out.
Yeah, we're just trying to keep up. So.
That is so.
And they have that automated pill dropper, which I just find fascinating as well.
Yep, it counts and labels and caps our bottles, so makes us more efficient and safe.
Well, in Natasha's intro, we talked about kids and sniffles. What are some things families could do right now to kind of keep themselves a little healthier with kids going to school, bringing back a lot of germs?
Well, there are a lot of diseases out there, a lot of respiratory illnesses going around right now. And I will have to say a lot of them are viral.
Okay.
The biggest thing is viral illnesses don't need antibiotics, and a lot of times don't even need to go to the doctor. They'll resolve on their own. And it always seems that the cough is the last thing to go, which is also the most annoying symptom. And so that's what I try to tell customers is say, if you are able to, get through it, drink a lot of fluids. There's a few medicines over the counter that you can take to help with the symptoms. Most of the time it's going to resolve on its own. But also, the biggest thing to do to prevent is washing your hands.
Okay.
Studies have shown that washing your hands has been a great way to prevent. So, hand sanitizer, all that fun stuff.
I love the pill guy is telling us honestly, don't always need to take a pill. Do the right thing, right?
It's true.
Wash your hands.
It's true.
Yeah, take care
There's a lot of
yourself.
antibiotics that I think are unnecessary, and I wish we didn't have to prescribe them. But sometimes people get sick and they just have a routine where they want to get their medicine and they feel the medicine's going to help them, and in reality, they'll probably get better on their own.
Is there any way we can kind of determine ourselves, like what's a virus?
Compared to a bacteria.
There's
Yeah.
not a lot. So I'm actually going to take my wife's advice. She's a physician's assistant at Revere Health, and she works in emergency or in the urgent care.
Oh.
So she is really good. So I
Okay.
asked her,
That's good.
and she said, if it's flu-like symptoms, that's the time you want to go see a doctor if you think it's a flu. But most respiratory things are just going to be viral.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, and because it's respiratory, I mean, even post-COVID, right? Because people get nervous, they get nervous with pneumonia, so the cough does seem really scary. Is there anything that you might recommend, like over the counter, that we could pick up at the pharmacy that doesn't necessarily come through a prescription?
Yeah. There's one thing about over-the-counter medicines.
Okay.
There's a few ingredients, and then it's marketed in 100 different ways.
Yes, please do tell
Yes,
us.
I
So
do
it's-
feel that way.
So it's very overwhelming when you look at the shelf and you just see all these things. A lot of them say cough and pain or cough and congestion,
Severe cold.
severe cold. Yeah.
That always gets me.
Yeah. So really there's one ingredient called dextromethorphan, which is great at helping with cough. So if you kind of turn over the bottle, look and see if it's in there, then that's a good one.
But any cough medicine is going to have that, correct?
Most of them do, but most of them also combo other meds with it. A lot of times people will get medicines that have a pain reliever in it and they don't know it, and so they're taking unnecessary medicines for a cough.
Okay.
So it's important to see what's on the label, what you're taking. And that's one thing I love being a pharmacist, is being able to help people,
Right.
people show them what they need. And oftentimes I try to find the best solution at the best price, because some of the more expensive things are unnecessary. So
That's good to hear. Question. I sleep really good, but I have some family members that really struggle falling asleep or staying to sleep. Does melatonin really work? And then I heard some friends this weekend saying it was a certain melatonin that you should be getting, but I missed the conversation. So I wanted to ask you, for all of our sleep deprived friends.
yes, sleep is a common ailment that most people have. It's one thing we see a lot in the pharmacy. Melatonin's great. Melatonin's a great medication. It's natural. It's something that our body makes. My biggest recommendation is a lot of supplements don't have very good studies that back them up.
Okay.
But I like to point out ones that are third-party tested. So there's not a lot of control. Sometimes you get a melatonin that doesn't have as much melatonin as it says it has in it. And so I like to just find ones that are third-party tested, so that way I know what I'm getting in my medication and I know what I'm getting in my supplement.
I would just think that if I went in and bought any melatonin off the shelf, that any of them would work the same. But
Yep.
that's not the case.
That's not the case. Some of them have
that
found
weird?
that they don't have as much concentration as they say. So you have to be careful of
It's
that.
like a Diet Coke. You can go to different places, but they're going to taste just a
Yeah.
little bit different, right? With the amount of syrup and carbonation
Like I
ratio.
get my Coke Zero with lime, and then I'll go
Yes.
home and I'm like, does it have lime? And there's 3 limes, but they
Yes.
didn't even squeeze the darn lime.
Right? You see how this all always
Yes.
circles
Can
back
you
to Diet Coke.
also help us understand the difference between a compound pharmacy and a regular pharmacy?
yeah.
Yes, I sure can.
Okay.
Stone Drug, we offer compounds. Compound is something that we do patient-specific dosing.
Okay.
So the doctor will say, I need this medication for a child. It maybe only comes in tablet. Will you compound it in a liquid for this child at this dose? So we take the raw ingredients, the chemicals, and we make it in the formulation that the doctors want and dispense it. So it's very patient-specific.
I love that.
Yep. So commercially available items are the more common things that you see in the pharmacy, but compounds are more specific and patient specific.
Not everyone does that. I remember like back in my early mom years coming to Stone Drug to get gripe water, because that's not something that was like everywhere, right? Is that still a thing?
No.
Do you remember that?
It's for their upset stomach.
Yes.
Yeah.
They,
Did it
they
work?
still have some over the counter that's similar to it, yeah.
But yeah, it just
Yeah.
was that, like, you guys knew everything. You were the place to come to, like, try and take care of all the woes.
Yep.
So
Well, and
that was pretty
obviously
awesome.
third generation. So, and it's super. I mean, it's super fun to visit the pharmacy. Not always to pick up our prescriptions, but it's super fun to shop as well.
Well,
so.
they have the best darn ice cream cones, hands down, I think, in the whole city.
Yeah.
Just
And
that
cheeseburger
vanilla.
and fries. I mean, honestly, like a good lunch there.
And their
So good.
geometry towels. They're expensive, but they're expensive wherever you go.
You can pick up your prescription, have lunch, and a gift.
and
right
furnish
there.
your home.
Perfect. What?
Yeah. And talk to a pharmacist as well.
There you
Yeah.
go. Okay.
Get your melatonin questions answered.
There you go. I'm going to be in and
Have a consultation.
Yeah.
thank you so much
Thanks,
for joining
Jordan.
us.
Thank
You
you.
guys are
problem.
awesome.
Stay healthy.
Will do.